Hey guys, we're back with another Destiny 2 video, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the teaser trailer for the episodes. So if you have not completed the final shape at this point, this is your one and only spoiler warning. Spoiler warnings have been pretty consistent over the last few episodes, or rather videos I've put out. So again, they will probably continue until tomorrow, and then final shape stuff will be pretty much talked about all the time. And then I'll give a little bit of time on the episode stuff because I know some people might have to catch up still. But without further ado, let's get into the topic of today's video, which is we're just talking about the future as well as the past and how Bungie can recreate the magic of the final shape. With the story basically over at this point, the Light and Dark saga has ended, and we have the new era, the episode era, and an Age of Peace or something similar to that. And again, in that recent video, we saw the teaser of Echoes, which starts on Tuesday the 11th of June. We also have Revenant, which will feature Fikrul the Fanatic from the Forsaken expansion, essentially the leader of the Scorn. And we'll also be heading back to the Dreadnought in the third and final episode of the year, Heresy, which is it's awesome. Like, I'm excited to see what is happening with the Dreadnought. The theme just looks amazing. I love the Hive. I love the Dreadnought. So me personally, I'm excited about that. I thought they had forgotten about it, and I guess they didn't. However, we didn't get much info about what is to come after that. Simply, we just got a glimpse of the codename, which the next major D2 release is codenamed Frontiers. A lot of people are speculating that we might take the Dreadnought, pilot it ourselves, and maybe head to different galaxies. We know that the Cabal are really poised to retake Torobatl, which has been simply overrun by Xivu Arath's Hive, and would be almost impossible to take back. But listen, we're paracausal entities and we make our own fate and all that stuff, so anything is possible. I was hoping to get more of a glimpse of what was to come, though. I mean, you can really guess what Frontiers means, but again, it's a code name, so it could throw us off. I think Lightfall was the code name for the final shape, and then the final shape became the final shape. Like, things change in development. I think we really didn't get a lot of gameplay or anything from Frontiers because Bungie obviously hasn't worked on any of that stuff yet, which is a little concerning. I know there were leaks about Destiny 3 being worked on, and that's still possible. Frontiers could just be another set of episodes to, again, tide us over until Destiny 3 comes out. But I think after the end of the final shape and how well received it's been, and I agree with it, it's an awesome expansion. I think there's a lot more optimism in general about how good Frontiers can and probably will be. The future of Destiny is bright, okay? This new era, though, is predated by so much inconsistency. It's plagued Bungie since the beginning, right? The game is good now, and I want to emphasize that. It's come a long way. It always hasn't been good, but it is right now. And the question I've been asking myself is, why? Whether it was past iterations of the company or its current form, Bungie has shown what they can do. Forsaken, Taken King, Final Shape, and so on. But blunders such as Shadowkeep, Beyond Light, Curse of Osiris, I know I'm going way back with Curse of Osiris, but yeah, it was bad. That's haunted players and devs alike for a long time. And I think there's a common thread with those releases, right? Liana Rupert, who is a former community manager of Bungie, she's also working on some new projects. She worked on the Fallout series, and she's also working on the new Yakuza Amazon Prime series. She has an excellent channel. I'll link the video that I'm about to talk about that she made in the description. Go check her out. Follow her on Twitter. She has a lot of really good based takes that I agree with. That's just me, though. You might not agree with her. But she highlighted some of the issues that Bungie's developers struggled with before the final shape. And a lot of it has to do with why it was delayed. And by the way, it's important to think of the people behind the final shape and Destiny as a whole as humans. They're not just people who make games. You know, they have families, they have bills. You know, the way the community has treated some of these devs in the past is insane, and they deserve way better, especially considering what they've given us. And on top of that, you know, they were facing immense crunch. So not only were they getting some hate, they were also just having a rough time trying to put out a product they were proud of. And obviously the end result of that crunch wasn't what the studio wanted. That's why they delayed the expansion, to give everyone more time to polish the product. Eventually, you know, it worked out because the final shape is great and everyone loves it. I just wish it didn't come at the expense of so many jobs and the livelihoods of other people, because people did get laid off. People had to sell their houses and move out of Seattle because they literally moved to work at Bungie, but they couldn't stay because they didn't have a job anymore. Of course, you know, there's not much we as individuals can do, you or me as individuals, to change this situation, except, you know, vote with our wallets, speak up for these devs, and try to bring awareness to how sometimes, you know, they get taken advantage of in this situation. Fact of the matter is, crunch overall is one of the worst things for game developers to deal with. They lose sleep, they lose time with their families, all because they're trying to work. And, you know, at the end of the day, these guys lost their jobs. And you could say, oh, it's their own fault, they weren't doing a good job. But either way, most of their work went into what we got, and it's phenomenal. And they should be commended for that. They should be compensated for their work, and that just didn't happen. The products we buy into suffer, which isn't the main point, but it is a symptom of crunch and you know, these devs again having to experience that. And, you know, the only people who suffer aside from us are the devs, right? And the only people who win are the ones who are cutting the checks, the management, executives, etc. When the developers have time to cook like they did with the extra time they got, everybody wins. The players get a fantastic expansion to play through. And, you know, the company as a whole is making a lot of money right now. I can tell you that. And the devs get to see their work appreciated, all while probably getting some bonuses as well. At least I hope they get some bonuses, so that, you know, not only can they pay their bills, but they can live a little luxuriously, have that extra income. And that's the recipe that Bungie needs to abide by. They need to give more time to the devs, even if it means management and executives make less money. At least they won't have to shut down the servers and move on from Destiny. And, you know, that might have been more possible than people realize. If Sony didn't buy Bungie, it's possible that Final Shape never would have happened, which is, I know, crazy to think about. But that's how bad Bungie was doing. They weren't making enough money, and they, as a solo studio, they couldn't stay afloat, and the high burn rate was certainly there. And the layoffs, I think, are obviously an example of that. It could have been much worse. You just hope that never happens again. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd be fine to stick with episodes until a big release comes out, even if it's a year, 2 years, 3 years. As long as the content that comes out is absolutely immaculate, I'm fine with that. And people don't have to suffer. You know, there's things that Bungie can do in the interim to try and make money. I mean, listen, they already put so much into the Eververse store. I know that a while ago we heard rumors of some TV series coming out, and that really hasn't happened. I know they made a deal with like CBS or someone, And we haven't seen anything come to fruition, but I know that there are so many people clamoring for some kind of either a Destiny animated series or a live action Destiny series, and there's so much rich lore within the Destiny universe that you could tap into, whether it's a prequel series or something that's happening in the game currently that Bungie could turn into some kind of mini animated series or something like that. I know there are comics that come out every now and then as well. But yeah, honestly, it'd be great if the devs just in general had more time to work on this engaging content. I just don't want Lightfall to happen again. I don't want Shadowkeep. I don't want more layoffs. I want everyone who works at Bungie to feel safe in their job. I want the company to flourish because I enjoy what they put out as a product. I want more of the final shape. Obviously, they can't like just continue putting it out because the final shape is the end of a story. You know, that the satisfaction of getting to the end, it's hard to replicate. So, you know, beginning a saga, getting the wheels churning again, it's gonna take a little bit of time. So, you know, again, Frontiers has the potential to be great because it is kind of like starting that cycle all over again. But Destiny 1 Vanilla and even D2 Vanilla is a great example of how that first step was really just messed up. And I think Bungie is very cautious at starting over again with a new game, with a completely new game, because in both instances everything was lackluster. The story that they have built on at this point is great, and maybe they feel if they start over from scratch again, they won't be able to keep that kind of pace. They won't have the time to flesh everything out, and that's fair. So again, time is so important when it comes to creating good games. And you know, Call of Duty is maybe the prime example of this because listen, everybody plays Call of Duty for the PvP. Let's be real. It's been a long time since I've heard someone be like, man, Call of Duty, such a great campaign. I want to play through it again. Maybe like the earlier Call of Duties were good. But again, the desire for that game, the appeal is the PvP. And Call of Duty comes out every single year. And the reason they do that is because it makes them money. And I think that was the idea with Destiny, and it just doesn't work. I think the multi-year release schedule would benefit the game so much. Anyways, I've kind of beaten it like a dead horse. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this. I think most people will agree with this because it gives the players a chance to take a break as well. But I think maybe that's part of the issue as well. Bungie doesn't want people to walk away from Destiny, forget about it, and never come back. They want people to stick around. But as long as they have engaging story, and you know, the content creators who play the game consistently are you know, raving about the game, people will come back eventually. So they just have to keep cooking, bro. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.